Ranger can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Originally constructed in 1996, Las Vegas Motor Speedway held its first major event in September of that year, an IndyCar race won by Richie Hearn. The first NASCAR event, a Craftsman Truck Series race, followed 2 months later. The Xfinity Series paid a visit in 1997 before the NASCAR Cup Series arrived in '98, marking the beginning of the track's long-term success. Changes to the oval in 2006 made it a more competitive venue for stock cars. This major renovation revamped the banking, upping it from a modest 12 degrees to 20. Not only that, but the corners were banked progressively, meaning further up the racing surface you go, the steeper it gets. Lap times got quicker, racing got more competitive, with the current stock car track record held by Kurt Busch, just over 196 miles per hour. Tonight, it's race number 5 of the Vigilante Racing League, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'm Steve Singer with Track Limits Network, joined in the broadcast booth by, well, driver broadcaster Chris Goins. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, good evening, Steve. Doing well. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Getting ready for this race number 5 here of the Vigilante Racing League. Another round here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Let's look at the race details tonight. 133 laps the race distance, just a tick longer than last night. 77-degree ambient temperature, 21% humidity. Actually overcast skies here tonight. Still breezy at 16 miles per hour and a track temperature of 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Drivers working with a 70% fuel load tonight, a little bit more than last. More tires too, 5 change sets available over the wall. Got no fast repairs tonight and 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish if necessary. That fuel window should give the drivers between 30 and 34 laps on a full tank, depending on how well they manage that fuel. Practice just about wrapped up here at the Speedway. Ricky Wittenberg fastest here, 30.336. Alan Vaught with a 357. Not just the time, probably in real life too. Adamson with a 363. Bittner with a 418. And Dylan Bryant a 432. Very tight times, as we saw last night here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Practice about over here, 30 seconds before we see the red and black flag on the session. We'll get right into qualifying, and I believe qualifying tonight's a 5-minute session, 2 laps, whatever expires first. So, Chris, let's pick your brain a bit, as we always do. You ran this race essentially here last night in the truck in the Num Thumbs Racing League. What was your take on the events of the evening? As you had a strong run.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was a good race. Vegas in these trucks can turn into a bit of a pack style racing early. You'll see a lot of door-to-door racing, probably still a little bit of paint exchanged. But, as the run goes out and those tires heat up and wear down a little bit, you do see a considerable amount of tire wear. So I think you'll see the field stretch out if you get a long green flag run and kind of the cream rises to the top, right?
Now, with all that said, I know you can pretty much run wide open here, at least for a handful of laps. Certainly in qualifying, you're going to be fast, foot on the floor the whole way around. But lap 2, a little bit faster. How long will you see guys go wide open, at least in the race?
I think you'll see a mixed bag. I think the people that are planning long-term, you'll actually see them, lift half throttle in the corners starting at the beginning. That's kind of the route that I usually go. Some of the ones that like the speed early, you'll see them run flat out for, 5 to 10 laps, and then it'll start to heat up and wear out a little bit, and you'll start seeing a little bit more lifting for sure.
Again, with 5 sets of tires available over the wall, 6 if you count what's on the truck, these guys likely to be hammered down a little bit more than we saw last night. I think we only had 2 sets available over the wall with a little bit shorter race, but I think it was only about 7 or 8 laps less than what we have here tonight. I'll be real curious to see how aggressive these guys are on throttle early on.
Yeah, I think with that many sets of tires, you're not so much worried about the tire wear per se. And, you may see a lot more beating and banging than we saw last night, although there was a little bit of that last night too. So
Greg Dobson out of turn 4 here. He'll get his lap in the books. Crosses start-finish line. Gallagher goes 31.086. Bryant with a 36.38. Dobson goes second quick, 30.957. So a lot of drivers already clocking in a time here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're going to switch over to Dylan Bryant here. Watch his second lap. See if that really is indeed the faster of the two. Bryant right down to that white line, just barely touching the paint out of 4. Actually keeps the truck turned down a bit, doesn't open the wheel all the way, shortens up the lap a bit, crosses the line. Bryant goes P3. A little bit slower on the second lap, 30.650 for the 51. What did you see last night in qualifying, Chris? Was it faster on the first lap or the second, for the most part?
Well, for me specifically, I made it to where it was definitely going to be faster on the second lap. So the first lap, I kind of used my out lap about halfway up. First lap, I just kind of ran middle of the track just to get up to speed, get some tire temp in. Didn't cut the dog leg coming to start lap 2. And then lap 2, just wrapped the bottom. And then that's when you saw, cutting the dog leg, which you'll see a lot here. Obviously, Dylan did it to try and cut that off. So lap 2 was definitely faster for me.
Top 2 changed quick here. Craig Goodenough took the pole away from Alan Vaught about 3 seconds after he crossed the stripe and had it. Front row right now, Craig Goodenough, Alan Vaught. David Feit runs a 30.658. He'll be 16th for the time being. Tim Pope in the number 7 machine, 32.312 first lap. Same thing. A lot of these guys are holding the truck down out of 4. They're not washing up the racetrack. Really trying to shorten that lap. Pope goes from 27th up to 3rd. 30.570 for Pope. Albert Anderson on the track. He was quick last night as well. Anderson, I believe, if I remember correctly, runner-up in that Num Thumbs race.
Yep, just could not catch him at the end.
And Anderson started back in the 40th position, drove it all the way almost to the top spot. 28th so far. Anderson out of 4. Washed up the track a bit out of turn 4, but pulled it right back down. I don't think he scrubbed too much speed off, but still a good lap. 5th fast, 30.568 for Anderson. Less than a minute in the session, Jeremiah Burke on the racetrack. First lap at 31.497. He should have enough time to get back around. It's going to be close, but Burke crosses the line, finishes it up just as the clock's about to expire. Goes 21st, 30.629. Few drivers haven't taken the time thus far. That would be Andrew Cawthon, Dave Mayberry, Mike Everidge, Stoney Benfield. That's going to be about it for qualifying. It's wrapped up here at the Speedway. So let's get to it. Our starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 30.496 seconds. It's the 89 of Craig Goodenough. Outside front row, knocked Alan Vaught off the front row. It's the 48 of Jack Dixon, missing the pole by 32 thousandths of a second. Row number 2, it's the 33 of Alan Vaught and the 84 of Josh Bittner. Row 3, the 99 of Albert Anderson and the 7 of Tim Pope. Row 4, Scott Roney and John McAdam. Row 5, it's John Gallagher and Dustin Eaton. Starting in the 11th position, it's the 83 of Jason Gaines. 12th goes to Greg Dobson. 13th starter, it's Austin Paul. Russ Kilgore will roll 14th. 15th starter, it's Dustin Wade. Larry Dickerson will start 16th. Ricky Wittenberg 17th. Sean McDonald will roll from the 18th position. 19th starter, it's the 01 of Kelly Cool. 20th belongs to Joe Canellis. Jeremiah Burke will roll 21st. 22nd, Anthony Williams. Dylan Bryant, 23rd, 24th, Andrew Player. 25th position, it's Trevor Robertson. Kyle Vaught will start 26th. David Fite, 27th. Chandler Paul, 28th. 29th starter, it's Mike Adamson. 30th belongs to Greg Klein. 31st, Dion Jones. Kevin Hunt, 32nd. 33rd, George Rincon. Stoney Benfield will start 34th. Dave Mayberry, 35th. Mike Everidge, 36th. And last but not least, shotgun on the field, it's the 10 of Andrew Cawthon starting in the 37th position. It's your starting grid here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Field parked on the starting grid here as they get ready to roll. One pace lap, I believe, and last night we went an extra pace lap, so they may do the same just to make sure we've got everybody lined up where they need to be. And the field begins to roll here behind the iRacing pace truck. Again, the race details tonight, 133 laps, the race distance, 76 degrees, 23% humidity, as it does get a little bit damper out here considering it's the desert, 23%. I wouldn't say that's very moist. Overcast skies, 14-mile-per-hour breeze, track temperature 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 70% fuel load, 30 to 34 laps, 5 sets of tires over the wall, no fast repairs, 1 green and white checker if we need it, hopefully not. It's a pretty clean race last night. I think 4 cautions for the whole race. See if we can match or even beat that here tonight. Chris, looks like they got everybody lined up where they need to be. I don't know if Albert Anderson's going to drop back here. He's kind of acting like he's going to. We'll see if they call off the start here and go one more lap around. Right now, though, it looks like we're going to go green.
Yeah, I think they got everything squared away. I think most of the guys ahead of ULs didn't even qualify anyways.
Old DW unfortunately missed the race last night. Derek Welch going to be out of this one too. He's got some stuff going on at home for the next couple of weeks he's just got to attend to. Can't say I fault him for it by any means. You got to do what you got to do, but he is third in points, so it's kind of a tough break for him. Green flag in the air, and we're off and running from Vegas. Field through 3 and 4 for the first time this afternoon. Good enough, already out to a big lead, and we got a 3-wide battle behind them already. Alan Vaught in the middle, Anderson on the bottom, Dixon up top. Still 3 wide into turn 1. What's the line we always hear him say? You can't win it on lap 1, but you can throw it away.
Yeah, tell that to Albert Anderson making it 3 wide there at the start.
Got what he was looking for.
The second. This is the busiest part of the run here. These first 5 to 10 laps, you're going to see 4 wide sometimes because you can run anywhere you want. As you burn these tires up, you're going to see that track narrow down quite a bit, though.
It's kind of what I'm looking forward to in the actually the Umthums Racing League. I believe has decided on the new ARCA car for their next half of their season, which still a ways off. As we get a possible battle for the lead here as Anderson looks to the inside on Craig Goodenough for the top spot. Not able to get clear out of 4. Goodenough trying to hang on the right rear to side draft the 99 just a bit, kind of break that momentum with some air. More side draft into turn 1. Neither one of these guys willing to give up here and check up and get in line. They still run side by side through turns 3 and 4. Anderson on the bottom. Goodenough in the black and red 89 topside. 2 Toyotas at the front of the field here coming back to start finish. Lap's going to be led by Anderson. Alan Vaught now swatches lanes and a little bit of door-to-door contact. Side-by-side battle for 4th and 5th as well behind this fight. We're going to stick with the leaders for now as they make a little more contact. Anderson's got to be careful. He's a little bit far back on the door to be making that kind of a contact there. It's a really easy way to spin the outside truck out. Alan Vaught sniffing the outside here, trying to see if he can even make an attempt to go 3 wide and pass both of these guys. That'd be a brazen move, especially this early. Not one that I would expect to see out of the 33. Goodenough able to defend, at least for the time being. Anderson trying to tuck back in behind, but Goodenough stays up in front of Alan Vaught. Now swaps lanes, gets clear of the 99. But yeah, going back to that, Chris, just talking about being able to use every lane possible early on in this run. I think you're going to see a lot of that on these tracks when it comes to that new ARCA car. The tires really don't go away all that much, and I assume iRacing may jump in there and correct that, but the tire model right now at least, you can run these things like crazy, and they just don't slow down. It's not necessarily a good thing, but on tracks like this, it might be really exciting to watch.
Yeah, without the tire wear, I mean, this is what you see all the time, just cars and trucks everywhere. Personally, I kind of hope that they fix it with the tire model, because that's, where I thrive is a little bit of tire wear. But if not, then we'll just put their forward to it out.
123 of Gallagher up the racetrack. Don't think he got a piece of the wall, but man, he was awfully close to it. Now he's got the 84 of Bittner to the inside with Gaines running in behind. Oh, and contact is made. Gallagher and Bittner in the fence. First caution of the night. Watching those two fight for just a moment there, and it was just getting ready to happen, and it did here. Lap 10, first caution of the afternoon. Gallagher and Bittner involved. Get a replay for you guys here in just a minute. In fact, here it is. So Gallagher in the 123 truck. I don't know if he caught the wall a little bit on entry and came down and hit Bittner. I want to slow this down a bit more. Looks like Bittner's trying to keep Gallagher pinned up there. Yeah, Gallagher does start to turn in just a little bit, but he was not quite clear. I mean, he can lift and run that top lane. He had a place to go. Bittner certainly didn't make it easy on him.
Yeah, I think in that situation, I think sometimes what you see is driver on the outside gets kind of locked into what the truck in front of him is doing. When that truck starts to make that turn in, he tends to follow and then gets caught by that car on the inside.
So pit stop's underway here already at lap 11. I think most of the drivers are going to come down, even though there's a bunch of tires available. I don't know if they're going to take them right now. Might see a couple do it, but I don't know. I don't think it's really necessary. I think you're just wasting a set. So in the meantime, we had some more chatters here in the stream chat. Of course, Derek Welch checking in earlier, Tim McAdam, Albert Anderson, then let's see, Gene Porras, I don't know how to say it. Taylor Provax, as always, thanks for checking in. We got Rhett Arnell, says, Team Good Enough, checking in. Let's go 89. Lori Vaught, of course, says, hey, Taylor, what's up? VRL fans and family. We got Verde, says, the 123 tried to clear himself. It's kind of what it looked like. I don't know if it was trying to clear himself. I just think he was turning in expecting Bittner to do the same, but I think Bittner was trying to hold him up there. Just like that, we're on the one to go. We'll get the restart the next time by. Lap 13, we're back under green. And there you go. Pace truck hits pit lane. 89 and the 99 in the front row. Green flag is in the air. We're back racing here from Vegas. Lap 13 goes up on the board. Good enough with the jump. The battle's going to be between Alan Vaught, Albert Anderson for second. Vaught with a big jump. He's going to take that second spot into turn number 1. We saw a lot of this last night too. That outside truck restarting in the second position at a huge disadvantage on the restarts.
Yeah, you almost want to go to third and second on those restarts for sure.
Good enough still leads. Vaught second, Anderson third. Things are starting to settle down. I wonder if Lori Vaught had something to say to these guys. It's early, guys. Calm down. Pretty neat single file line quite a ways back. One truck, though, in the wall just a moment ago. It was the 01, I think, of Kelly Cool. Yes, indeed. Kelly touches the wall out of turn number 2, breaks his momentum. Doesn't lose a lot of ground, though. He's 13th.
As these tires get hot and get some age on them, you're gonna definitely see, keep an eye out coming out of 4. That narrows up pretty quickly, and I think you'll see a lot of quote unquote Darlington stripes, but left on the Vegas wall coming out of 4 for sure.
Guess you can call it the Vegas sweep. I don't know.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Vegas swipe. I was trying to come up with something clever related to gambling. I couldn't think of anything because I don't gamble. Andrew Player jumps to the inside here on the 68 of Dustin Wade. Wade does not fight it off too much. Again, we see a lot of that here on some of these racetracks where tires can become an issue, especially if we get a long run. These guys that are being very conservative out there, taking care of the rubber, are going to be in better shape here if this run goes on for a while. They'll start catching back up to those guys that blew past them early when they were saving tire and the others weren't. Man, Bryant real close to hit the wall up turn 2. Almost got it. Right now, the only battles on the racetrack is what we're watching. This is just outside the top 10. Dylan Bryant looking for space here to get through to pass the 68 of Wade. Bryant now up to 11th if he gets clear. Not quite enough to do so. And a battle behind him as well between Mayberry and Dickerson.
You know, kind of going back to what you were saying, Steve, about not fighting too hard and kind of taking it easy on the tires early. It's definitely a good strategy to use, but you don't want to put yourself in a position where you fall so far back that you can't make up the time with the newer tires and the better conditioned tires. So you kind of have to, it's a, double-edged sword. You get stuck back there too far, you'll never make it back up either.
Very much so, a very fine line as to how aggressive or, I guess, conservative with the tires do you want to be throughout the course of that run, because you're absolutely right. You find yourself at the very tail of the field because you saved tire, or the worst thing could happen is finally you start to reel some guys in, you pick off a couple of spots, and then the caution comes out. Well, now you've shed all of that track position, and now everyone's going to get a chance to bolt on fresh tires, and then what do? Now you got to really push, abuse the tires to try and work your way back through the field, hoping that you can do it.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that I found out is you kind of go hard first as you see some contact there, Steve.
Players in the fence. I think we stay green here. McAdam and Player came together. McAdam goes through the grass. We're still under green, no caution. Wow. Got lucky there. That was a pretty big hit for Player, too. Let's see if we can go back and look. Backing up a little further here. They were 3 wide. I mean, that's how it's going to happen. So Player on the outside, McAdam in the middle, and I think that's Dickerson on the bottom. Hard to tell if Player was pinching him down in the middle there, if McAdam was trying to get off the door of Dickerson, but you see contact is made. McAdam driving it through the grass just a bit there. It's going to do it again here at the entrance to the Turn 3 Legends Oval. They got away with it. Not without some damage, but here they go again. And here comes the 4. Dion Jones trying to go up the gut. McAdam tried to close the door. Dion lifts. McAdam goes on by. Those trucks are hurt a little bit, I think. McAdam seems a little bit off the pace. So does Player.
Yeah, the 13 definitely took the brunt of that for sure. You can see him. He's guaranteed he's got some wheel damage and some right front fender killing that arrow on that truck too.
Getting a better look there at the 47. Right front fender pushed in on that right front tire a bit as well. Something that John's going to need to address on that first pit stop.
And if he's not careful, I mean, that'll wear out that tire even faster. But, trying to compensate for that aerodynamic adjustment and just the drivability portion of it will burn that tire up even faster than you would just on a regular run.
Yeah, we've seen that too in the data. You got a problem like that, it changes how you have to drive it, whether it's aerodynamics that are causing the truck to push. You're going to put more force on that right front, but also you do run the risk if there's some damage, it sets the toe in on the truck. That's going to increase the friction. That will increase the heat and subsequently increase the wear. And we can actually go back and look at telemetry, or after the laps are complete, look at the tire temperatures across the tread. Yes, there's technically tread, even though they're slick tires, but you can see that in the real world. You can even see it here in iRacing. Meanwhile, out front, some things have changed a bit, but not the leader. Craig Goodenough still out in front, enjoying a 3/4 second advantage back to second. But that position has changed. It's now Alan Vaught running P2. Larry Dickerson third. You see him in the number 69. Dylan Bryant runs fourth, and Anderson, who was P2, has fallen back to the fifth position where he started this race. Got to wonder, Chris, if he just pushed a little too hard too early. We saw how aggressive he was on the opening lap.
Yeah, and seeing him, kind of trapped on the bottom underneath Craig Goodenough there running for the lead, you run like that for a couple laps. I mean, you're just building up so much heat because you can't take that sweeping, exit that you would want to. You pinch that down and it's just going to generate more heat. So he may not have necessarily worn him out as much, but he got him hot for sure. So he's having to try and get those cooled down, which is really tough to do at speed, obviously.
You took the thoughts kind of out of my head here. I mean, they got to cool the tires down, but you're still running at speed. How do you cool these tires off in a place like Las Vegas Motor Speedway? I know we're lucky enough to have overcast skies here today, but especially in conditions where it's full sun, like it quite often is, how do you take temperature out of the tire while still maintaining your pace?
It's really tough. One thing that I try to utilize is a little bit later arc into the corner, not cutting the wheel so hard. Here you are very seldom off throttle completely, but running, quarter to half throttle for longer throughout the corner will definitely help that. Also, surprisingly enough, trying to get it yawed out to where you're putting more of the pressure on the right rear versus that right front. You almost want the truck sideways, it seems like. So, you can do that too to try and transfer. Basically, you're transferring the heat from the rear to the front, so you are going to use the rear a little bit more, but it's going to help your handling and your turn and your turning into the corner to kind of generate some of that speed.
So technique-wise, really lift a little bit on entry while you're turning in. That's going to transfer the weight to the nose of the truck, and that'll help get the rear of it to step out. And as you said, put it in yaw just a little bit.
Yep, exactly. And you'll see some of these trucks, especially ones that are down near the white line. If you see them kind of flush with the line, then you'll see some that have the tail end are even further away from the line. So those are the ones that are yawed out, and those are the ones that are putting that pressure on that right rear.
Trying to catch some battles for everybody out here, but it seems that everyone's calmed down a bit. The early race adrenaline has subsided a bit for a lot of these drivers, knowing that they've still got 100 laps to go. Now remember, we had a caution here. It was about lap 10. We expect a fuel window between 30 and 34 laps. Some drivers came down to pit. A few took tires. Obviously, everyone that decided to come down did take fuel, but there's some that stayed out. So there's going to be some drivers here momentarily that are going to be running short on gas. Going to have to make that trip to pit road here under the green flag. That's going to shake up the running order considerably because it's probably 50-50 those that pit versus those that did not. And in fact, here it is. Race leader Craig Goodenough, Alan Vaught, multiple drivers coming down to pit. It's almost like we knew. And no, it's not a replay. It's not a tape delay. This one's live for real, folks.
Crunch enough numbers in the box, you figure it out once or twice.
Crazy. Goodenough in the pit box here. Right side tire change for certain. Fuel going in. Crew around to the left. And it's going to be a 4-tire change for Craig Goodenough. I think just about everybody up and down pit road that's going to opt for tires is going to go with 4. Now Albert Anderson, Jason Gaines, Tim Pope, Cawthon, McDonald, Williams all on pit road. Tim Pope into the box. Clean entrance into his pit stall. Looked good for the 7. Stood on the brakes and to a stop it came. 4 tires and fuel for Anderson. Same for Tim Pope. Drops the jack down and away they both go. Anderson's going to be out first. Comes the 83 of Gaines. Oh, close call there in front of the field, in front of Craig Goodenough. Didn't catch who it was, but man, did they thread the needle, and they were 3 wide as those cars left pit lane. That could have been a disaster. So Goodenough running in the 15th spot. Without a caution, that's just going to force the rest of those guys that came down to pit during that first caution. He'll end up having to pit here subsequently about 10 laps later, so that'll cycle these guys back to the front. But those guys that pit the next time by, they'll have fresher tires, so they're going to be quicker. If we get another long green flag run, there's that chance they could start to reel in those leaders.
And, this right here is where you have to be careful as, with Goodenough and Allen there in what essentially will be P2 after everything cycles through. But, you have such a pace difference that, you misjudge one move against a truck that still has old tires. I mean, you could easily end your race in a heartbeat.
It is kind of crazy, even in stock cars or trucks in this instance, when you get guys on different pit cycles as far as tires are concerned, with tracks that have a lot of tire fall off. It's almost like a class series racing, like the IMSA WeatherTech series, where you've got prototypes versus GT cars, and there's that significant delta in pace. You reel these guys in so fast, sometimes it's a surprise to the trailing driver with better tires, as you see Goodenough gets to the inside of Jeremiah Burke like he's tied to a tree.
Yeah, and you don't have the benefit of headlights to be able to flash at people when you're coming up behind them in these either.
No, that's when you're screaming at your spotters, get the 43 or get the whatever number, get them out of the way, I gotta go. Any of you guys that have been to a racetrack with the scanner and headphones in, listening to what's going on, you've heard all of that. The guys out there late in the run, leading the race, trying to get through lap traffic, screaming at the spotter, trying to get everybody to move. It's actually quite comical. If you haven't done it, I highly recommend it. And if you don't own a scanner, you can get them. Just rent them from the track. Usually Racing Electronics has those. You can rent them for the weekend. They give you the headset, batteries. Anytime you run out of batteries, they'll give you new ones. It's not a paid advertisement. I've just done it before. Got Mike Fahey in the chat. Says, hey guys, hope you're having a good night. Thanks for checking in, Mike. Nobody here to watch you wreck this time. I think Mike had a solid run last night, too. I think he was top 10.
Well, he did until he decided not to take tires on it last time.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Mike. I tried. 44 laps in, your leader is still Larry Dickerson. Again, he pit at lap 10 during our first caution, but he's got to be getting close to running out of fuel here, and he's got Dylan Bryant breathing down his neck. In the same boat as far as the pit strategy is concerned. Really the case for everybody in the top 8 right now. As Greg Klein has come down to hit pit lane for the second time today. Going to see this very soon, if not this time by. Nope. But here comes Craig Goodenough. He's going to get his lap back. Again, right now only 8 trucks on the lead lap. That's how that thing cycled through. Goodenough's main goal there was to get back by, get on the lead lap in case that caution does come out. You see Alan Vaught there reeling in the leaders as well. He's going to make short work of them. He'll put himself back on the lead lap as well. And Dickerson's going to come down and pit. Bryant stays out. He'll lead the lap. Dickerson in his pit box, right side's going on. Sunoco Race Fuel going in, drops the jack crew around to the left. Half around a wedge in the right rear. 4 tires and fuel. Dickerson down and away, 14.57 seconds. A quick stop for the 69 Outcast Racing machine. And Dylan Bryant now going to do the same. He comes to pit lane. Good stop. 4 tires and fuel for Bryant as well. Still sits on pit lane, but he's still marked as the race leader. Is good enough. Is going to go by right now and retake that spot. So those guys at pit 10 laps ago, well, they've cycled back to the lead. Lap 47 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now good enough trying to get through some traffic here, McAdam and Everidge. It's allowed Alan Vaught to really close the gap with just a few feet off the back bumper of the 89 machine. But they've got a healthy lead back to Albert Anderson. Anderson did not get in and out of pit lane the best by comparison. Finds himself back about 3.4 seconds, though he did pick up a few positions in that exchange. So he lost some ground as far as actual distance is concerned, but picked up a couple of spots. So far so good for Albert. Up in the top 3 for now. Tim Pope runs 4th, Jason Gaines 5th. Interesting to watch here. Good enough running that low lane. Alan Vaught running topside. He stays up the racetrack. Is that just a matter of preference, Chris, or is he just trying to keep some clean air on the nose of his truck, speaking specifically about Alan Vaught?
That high, that's personal preference. That is something no normal human being should be able to do.
He's channeling his inner Kyle Larson.
Good. Yeah, he's good at it. He's one of the better ones I've seen at it. But no, he definitely is trying to keep some air on that nose. These trucks, since a couple of the updates, have become actually very aero dependent, almost kind of next gen-esque in a way. And keeping that nose clean and that air on it will definitely help it turn. But being that high against the wall, that's just Alan's personal preference there.
You know, you talk about the aero dependence of these trucks. I mean, it's been a big change since the update, but it's rather realistic in that sense, because you think about these trucks, it's basically a big brick out there with tires. It punches a giant hole in the air, so if you're dirtying up the air to the truck behind you, it's going to cause significant handling issues. And I think it's kind of cool that iRacing's got that right.
Yeah, absolutely. It was almost like running slot cars before. Now it actually makes them a little bit more fun to drive.
Good enough, starting to put some distance here on Alan Vaught. It was kind of using some of that lap traffic as a pick, but now Everidge in the 72, I think that's Chandler Paul, have gone through. So now the deficit for Alan, half a second. Tim Pope now has taken the 3rd spot from Albert Anderson and starting to put distance on the 99 as well. They're on the same tire strategy right now, so is just about everybody within the top 10. That top 10 being Craig Goodenough, Alan Vaught, Tim Pope, Albert Anderson, Jason Gaines, Jack Dixon, Scott Roney, Dustin Eaton, Mike Adamson, and now Larry Dickerson just jumps up into the 10th spot. Dylan Bryant now trying to take this position from Adamson. Adamson not giving up much of a fight here. Lets the 51 go on by to the bottom. Meanwhile, McAdam way up the racetrack. Might have been a little net code there. He was quite a ways off the wall, but we saw some dust and sparks fly off the 47. The 11 of Canellis alongside Kelly Cool. It's the battle for 22nd. We don't care what position it is, folks. If they're fighting for a spot, we want to see it. We're on the 92 of Greg Klein trying to go to the bottom and take that spot as well. Kelly still way up top side. Not having a strong run here tonight. Cool now 24th. Loses another spot here to Wittenberg. Kelly now switching lanes, goes bottom of the racetrack. Will run in line with these guys. Kyle Vaught to the outside of Dion Jones. This for 25th. .59 laps in the books here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Still shy of halfway, but we're getting there, less than 10 laps away. Craig Goodenough still leads. A healthy margin now back to Alan Vaught in second. 1.1 seconds the deficit. And Tim Pope, Albert Anderson, and Larry Dickerson in the fifth spot. Battle for position again here as Bryant takes sixth from Jason Gaines. Fight in the one. Greg Klein trying to pick up some more spots. Gets ahead Austin Paul. Austin didn't seem to like it too much. Jumped into the tailgate of the 92 for a moment there. This is a battle for the 18th position. Ricky jumps out here. He's going to try and take the spot from the 3 as well. We got Lori Vaught in the chat, says, love seeing the mid and back of the pack racing. Thank you, Steve. Well, racing's racing. Again, we don't really care where it's at, but lately it seems that a lot of that racing's been happening up into the top 10. But those guys are taking care of their stuff right now, so we're going to find the action and try to bring it to you guys. So glad you're happy with it, Lori. Kyle Vaught in the 26th position. That's right where he started here tonight. So just kind of maintaining here as we approach halfway. Next on the list for him will be George Rincon. Rincon's up 8 positions here, but it looks like Kyle might have position on him. That's the number 28 truck just ahead. Kelly Cool in the 27th spot. Stoney Benfield, though, applying pressure, wants to take that position away as well. This for 27. I still haven't gotten confirmation about Stoney Benfield here. I am almost certain that Stoney used to race with the Superior Class Auto Racing Series we broadcasted for originally. Our first series here back when it was HBR TV. Stoney's going to come to pit lane here, make his pit stop. It's about time, I think, for some of these pit stops to get underway as we approach halfway. So this is going to shuffle the deck again here as we're approaching some more green flag stops. Impressive run for this series so far. Benfield down and away. Now Mayberry doing the same. He's in the pits. 12, 13, 14, 14.98. 4 tires and fuel for the 29 truck. Sean McDonald as well. He'll make his way to his crew. So Lori Vaught filling us in here on that for, I already forgot who it was. It says no pit stop, penalty from last week, a drive-through in and around halfway. I think that was for Stoney, if I remember correctly. McDonald makes a pit stop. That was a legit pit stop here. 17:37 for the 23. Albert Anderson now going to do the same. Let's see if this is a penalty or a pit stop. I got to start asking questions before these races.
It seems like it's a lot to keep up with.
It is, but it's my fault because I know a lot of it's probably posted in their Discord, but there's just a lot going on. Anderson's going to take right, so this doesn't look like a penalty to me. I know usually when you penalize guys, they don't let them service the truck, so. 4 tires and fuel for Albert. He's down and away. 15:02, the stop for the 99. And we got lots of pit stops. Craig Goodenough now also headed down to the attention of his crew for service into that number 1 stall. The 4 tires and fuel for Craig Goodenough. He'll drop the jack and head back out as well. 14:70, a good stop for the 89. And Alan Vaught's going to join him. Dickerson now with the lead. It's like deja vu here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Four tire stop for the 33. Jack Dixon going to hit his stall just after he leaves. So Larry Dickerson still out on the racetrack here. Last pit stop for the lead driver right now is lap 45. Really could stay out a little bit longer, but with the tire availability and the fall off, I would probably come down and pit. I feel like he's losing track position on those old tires right now.
Yeah, with the tire options that you do have, it's definitely kind of a follow the leader. Once the first one starts to come down, you should kind of follow them at that point. Because one thing to keep an eye on, I know that Goodenough pit a little bit before Allen, so we'll see what kind of gap he put on him with those newer tires for even just that 1 or 2 laps.
Well, and I think that's really what triggered the 33 to come down and make his stop. It wasn't that he was out of fuel, because he still had a ways to go before it became an issue. They pit last with the same guys that are leading the race right now. But I think he knew that he needed to do what Goodenough did to at least keep up with him. It seems like Craig's the class in the field, at least right now, unless Allen's holding something back. Kind of had no choice. Like you said, it was just going to drag guys down. Really surprised to see Dickerson and Bryant still out there. George Rincon, Everidge, they'll make their way to pit lane. Right now, we've only got 9 trucks on the lead lap. 2 of those 9 in pit lane, so we'll see how long it takes for them to go down. It might put us to 7 on the lead lap, and indeed it does. Canellis not too far from going down. The caution comes out. Oh, man, this is going to trap a lot of guys a lap down. And speaking of that, Joe Canellis was one of them. You see him parked up in the turn 2 wall. John Gallagher was the other. No, that was who's parked up in the turn 2 wall. Still sits up there, and there's still debris flying through the infield. Got to watch out.
I was going to say, I think his hood's taking out people in the infield there.
Gallagher ends up towing back to pit lane, so let's get a look, see what puts us under our only second caution of the night here. Past halfway, they were 3 wide again. 434, I think that's Hunt, bounces off Kyle Vaught. Kyle trying to save it, slides up, does a good job staying off the 434, and then, I don't know, he's still trying to save the truck. Oh, what was the 11 doing up there? Canellis was about parked in turn 2. Yeah, he's trying to keep the truck up in the fence here. I don't think this has anything to do with it until it does. Yeah, he's stopped. He's stopped dead. Oh, man.
Wow. I'll be honest with you, Steve. When you see the wheel crank to the right like that, it looks more like a hardware issue.
Yeah, connection problem. Something got unplugged.
But boy, did he get creamed.
Yeah, it just goes hard right. So yeah, likely a hardware problem, whether it's something got unplugged at Canellis' end, because he doesn't even tow right away either.
Yeah. Just real bad place to be for those guys coming up behind him, especially if there's no way for him to tell anybody.
And unfortunately, terrible timing too, because it's going to trap the majority of the field a lap down. So Larry Dickerson, Dylan Bryant finish up their pit work. They're going to go back out on the racetrack here, maintain their positions prior to the caution, but now they've got fresh tires bolted on. I tell you, though, the way NASCAR's been lately, you'd think that they probably wouldn't even throw the yellow for that if it was in the middle of a pit cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, but if it's the last lap of the race, they're throwing it every time.
So I'm not sure how this is going to cycle back out. You see on the timing tower, even the overlay's got some questions because it's showing some guys back by a minute and a half. Well, it's probably just because we're under yellow, but that's over a lap, folks.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of guys that take waiver rounds, I would assume, to get back on the lead lap. Now, the tricky part of that is you take the wave around and get back on the lead lap, you're at the back, you can't pit, so the leaders have fresher tires than you, so without a caution, to kind of come in and be able to take those tires, you're still at a disadvantage even though you got the lead lap back.
With all that too, we've got as many of those wave arounds as they're going to have here. They've added an extra lap of caution here at Vegas to try and get everything lined out where it needs to be. Try to get those drivers in position where they're supposed to be running, whether it's lead lap or otherwise. You see, you got the lead lap trucks already double file here, but the lights are still on the pace truck. So we're going to go another time here. I don't know if Deion Jones thinks he's supposed to get a wave around here or if he's waiting for one, but Jones is marked as the 5th place truck, so I don't think there's a wave around going on there. So 78 laps just about complete here at Vegas. Should get the 1 to go as they cross the stripe. So Joe Canellis in the chat goes, well, that bit. Sorry, all. Joe, if you can hear us, let us know exactly what happened. From our perspective, it looked like you had a hardware disconnect or something to that effect, but I don't think it would have made a huge difference. That caution was probably coming out regardless because you had someone crashing behind you. That's really what ended up happening. I know it was a tough break on your end, but let us know if you're still listening. So we're double file, kinda. At least the top 10, it looks. A lot of wave-around trucks are going to be single file behind this, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. So front row is going to be Dickerson and Bryant, then Klein, Wittenberg, and Paul Jones. Good enough, Vaught, Anderson, Pope. That's the top 10. Base truck is in.
Ready, green flag.
Dickerson gets out to that race lead awful quick. Bryant trying to defend against Chris Klein for the second spot. Oh, Deion Jones, a big wiggle there in front of Scott Roney. So 81 laps up on the board here. Dickerson, Bryant, Klein, Paul, Wittenberg, the top 5. Now, at the time of the caution, we had like 7 trucks on the lead lap. To give you an idea how many wave rounds we had, we now have 24 on the lead lap. Oh, Wittenberg in the fence off of 4, and we got trouble. David Feit in the grass, almost going on his lid. Caution is out.
Good job, bud. Tell me what you got quickly.
Oh, Dixon goes in. Kyle Vaught gets a piece of this as well. Dixon gets into the driver's door. David Feit.
This will be huge for those drivers that just took the wave around. They can come down and get that one of those sets of tires they got left, and kind of get back on an even playing field with those leaders now.
Definitely going to help things for some of those drivers in a bad predicament there. It kind of resets the race for everybody involved. But let's take a look here what happened here. You saw a bit of it live as it happened. Watch the 1 of David Feit and the 0-1 of Kelly Cool. Looks like Feit, hard to say right now, might have tried to turn down, not realizing that Kelly was right there. Trying to get a better angle on it here in a minute. I think it's a little from column A, a little from column B. It looks like Kelly Cool coming up. David Feit keeping it pinned down, and they come and meet in the middle. Feit almost taking flight there. Definitely got some air underneath that truck, but it doesn't go over. So, Chris, as you predicted, lots of takers on pit lane.
Yep, and this will make it interesting with those guys coming through the pack with newer tires. I mean, a couple of laps, doesn't sound like a lot, but it can make a pretty big difference in time. I mean, you can see a half a tenth to tenth and a half, difference in pace. So we'll see what happens if them coming through the field.
See, the thing is here, you got more than 3/4 of the field opting to hit pit lane here this time. As we said, we had 7 trucks on the lead lap, and after the wave rounds, we had 24. So as you predicted, I think just about all of those drivers are going to take full advantage. It's going to put them back on an even playing field as we get ready to go back to green here in a little bit.
while we're sitting here, Steve, taking a look at the top 5, I know we had some strategy and benefit for a caution for them, but you take a look at that top 5. I mean, you've got Dickerson, Bryant, Klein, Jones, Mayberry, and they're all up, almost 20 plus positions. Crashberry himself is up 30. So,
took the words out of my mouth.
So, that's kind of turned this field over. You see a lot of those guys that made up those big spots.
And Dave, we kid because we care. Lights on the pace truck are out. I don't know if we're going to go another lap, though. We're still trying to get these guys organized. It looks a little discombobulated.
Speaking of Dave, it looks like he's lining up the 92. Just kidding, Dave.
Look out, Klein.
Not going, I don't think.
Yeah, just as I expected. We're going to wave off the restart here. We're going to go one more lap. Trying to get everybody organized. Mayberry's in the grass. I wonder if he was trying to text us in the chat.
He's probably trying to cool his tires down some.
I don't think that works anymore, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Those of you that don't know what we're talking about, back not too terribly long ago, really, there used to be a pretty significant advantage to driving through the grass under caution because it would cool the tires down considerably. Cooler tires provide more grip. Usually, there's a certain limit to that, but when they're nice and hot and you can cool them off a bit, it makes a big difference. iRacing has since made an update, so that doesn't happen anymore. So we are now on the one to go, and it looks legit this time. Pace truck lights have gone off. We're double file just about all the way back. Looking like a solid restart, getting ready to get underway here as they're in turn 4, waiting for the pace truck. There it is, goes hard left into pit lane. Barney with the green in hand, and there it is, green flag in the air. Into turns 3 and 4, and here Dickerson, Bryant, Klein, the top 3. Dickerson and Bryant checking out just a little bit. Bryant on the charge, though, gets to the inside, looking for the race lead. 88 laps on the board here. We're going to step aside in a moment. We're going to stick with this battle for as long as we can, though we do need to get one break in before it's all said and done. Down the back straightaway, still side by side for the top spot. Dylan Bryant drives it to the bottom of the racetrack. There's a little bit of room between himself and that white line, but gets clear. Dickerson out of turn 4, takes the lead. Dickerson up the racetrack, didn't want to lift, hits the wall. But new leader at the stripe, it's Dylan Bryant. Good as time as ever. We'll step aside, get a track limit side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, we hit fourth caution of the night during the side-by-side. We did show that replay in the middle of it, but in case you missed it, we'll go one more time here. The 10 of Andrew Cawthon and Greg Dobson coming together. Cawthon getting the raw end of the deal at the end of it. And look at that, all four wheels locked right up. Nice job by Andrew to keep the brake locked up there, not slide down the racetrack in front of traffic. Some people might laugh at that statement, but it's honestly good racecraft. If you get into an incident, two things. Hold the brake, watch the relative. Don't make it worse than it needs to be, and Cawthon did a good job of that. So on the one to go here. See the lights are off on the iRacing pace truck. We'll get the restart lap 94. Should give us, still going to need another pit stop unless we get a brash of cautions here. Verde says, like true NASCAR fashion, caution during the commercial side-by-side. Yeah, you know what, though? At least we're here for the restart. I don't think Fox would have pulled that off. Don't sue us, Fox. Just playing. Craig Goodenough, Tim Pope, the top two. Anderson now up in the third spot, but the battle behind him for fourth is on, and Alan Vaught goes to the inside. Craig Goodenough, Austin Paul all the way to the outside. Were they three wide? They were for a moment. Good enough now, battling for the top spot with Tim Pope. Earlier on in the race, Goodenough was able to hold his lead by working the outside. We'll see if he can take it away from Tim Pope by doing the same. Unfortunately, folks, we're having some major network issues, so if it's starting to cut out real bad, which I think it is from what I can see, we apologize for that. We'll try to get that squared here in a minute. Looks like we got her stabilized, folks. Sorry about that, but still the battle for the lead continues. Goodenough and Pope side by side out of turn number 4. Anderson runs third, then it's Vaught and Jeremiah Burke. That's the top 5, and they're all right there in the running here late at Vegas. Goodenough inches out in front, but still not quite clear of Tim Pope. Can't pull it down to the bottom. Up the racetrack, Pope goes just a bit, trying to put some air on the rear spoiler. Almost making contact, but has to tuck in. Anderson crosses over, jumps to the inside. Alan Vaught tries to go with him, changes his mind. But for the second spot now, Albert Anderson trying to take it away from Tim Pope. Through all that, still having some issues here with the network. I can't really do anything about it right now. We'll have to see if it cleans itself up. Trying to add some bandwidth here. Unfortunately, we're having some problems with the network side of things. It looks to be a little bit better for now. I know you're getting like a frame every 4 seconds. Sorry about that. 34 laps to go, going to be at the line. Goodenough leads. Still having some problems here. Again, my apologies for it, guys. I can't fix the network.
Caution's out.
And caution on
Any
the
thoughts
Speedway.
on pitting or staying out at all?
Mike Everidge in trouble. With that, guys, we're going to try and step aside here. We'll be right back. We'll try to get this figured out here. I don't know what I can do for it at this point, but stick with us. We'll be back.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, looks like we have, at least for the time being, corrected some network connectivity issues. Unfortunately, one of the updates to OBS recently has disabled the ability to pull back bitrate mid-show, which used to help considerably, but now it's not an option. It's there, it lets you do it, but it doesn't actually change anything. So we started turning off devices here on the network here at home. It seemed to clean things up. So fingers crossed, we're good to go to the end here as we'll have 30 laps to go at the line here when we take the green flag. Front row will be Russ Kilgore and Dustin Wade. A lot of drivers opting to pit. The top three stayed out.
Green flag.
30 to go. Boy, do they look aggressive now. Wittenberg with the lead for now. Kilgore to the outside. Craig Goodenough, he's right there. First truck there, looks like on fresh tires. No, it's Jeremiah Burke, the first on fresh, but they're side by side for position behind the leaders. One truck in the fence, keeps it out of traffic, keeps it pinned up the top of the racetrack. Oh, Jeremiah Burke jumps out of line, looks to the inside of Wittenberg, but nothing doing there. 3 wide into turn 3. Burke looking for the race lead here, drops to the apron of the racetrack at the start-finish line, has the better tires compared to Wittenberg. He'll have the lead into turn number 1. They're 3 wide for the top spot. Wittenberg in the middle, Goodenough up the racetrack, gets into the fence. We got trouble. Anderson, I think, down the bottom of the racetrack. We stay green for now, and no, now Roney goes around, and we got big trouble on the back straightaway.
Let's tell me about your car real quick.
Big time impact, I think, for Dave Mayberry. Others involved, the big one here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Looks like we fixed the network just in time. Well, Mayberry in the pit lane here, major front end damage. Again, I think that was the caution, or not the caution, the big hit that I saw. Let's see if that is the case. Widen out the shot. Again, they were 3 wide, a couple of rows deep. Roney gets crossed up in front of Kyle Vaught. Again, Anderson got shuffled out to the bottom of the racetrack, almost collects Roney, but he's going to get hit here by Mayberry, who got turned. Then Kyle gets turned by Goodenough. Goodenough, I think, is what started this whole thing off, getting up in the fence. Drivers were scattering. But watch this hit by Mayberry. Big time, nose in first. Good thing there's a tire pack there. Even with the safer barrier behind it, that would have been a monster hit. Still a big hit regardless. Mayberry hard on the brakes all the way into the barrier. So I want to back this up a little bit further here. I think Goodenough was the one that got in the fence initially. Yes, there it is, between him and Albert Anderson. So we'll watch this. Quarter speed, you see Goodenough slide up the racetrack. I think there might have been some contact with the 55. Anderson makes a little bit of contact there, really nowhere for him to go, but it crosses him up, gets him stepped out and loose out of turn 2. Dustin Eaton just squeaks by. So there's Anderson dirt tracking it on the bottom of the racetrack. Meanwhile, Roney gets turned in front of Kyle Vaught. Now he'll collect Anderson, or does he? No, he doesn't. That's right. Mayberry comes down. Adamson gets turned as well. He's going to thus domino effect the 16 up into Russ Kilgore, at least behind him. Dobson may collect him. So caution number 6 of the night. Again, cautions breeding cautions here at Vegas. Well, just like that, we're on the one to go here, ready for the restart. It'll be 24 laps to go when they cross the stripe. Jeremiah Burke, Ricky Wittenberg still front row. Remember, Wittenberg, older tires, came down at lap 92, but that was just for fuel for Wittenberg. Burke pit at 101, took 4 tires. So did Trevor Robertson, Alan Vaught, just about everybody else in behind.
Green flag.
Green flag back in the air. Burke got to a big advantage. Wittenberg left in the dust while Robertson takes over the second spot. 3 wide for third. Wittenberg tucks in behind Alan Vaught. 33 Eaton there as well. Now Roney jumps to the apron of the racetrack. Man, you got some differing tire strategies here. We talked about that delta earlier on in this race, and you're seeing it happen now. Oh, contact now with Alan Vaught, Dustin Eaton. They're side by side. They continue on, but that was a scary situation as well. 23 to go. Burke leads. Robertson, Eaton, Vaught, and Dickerson. Dickerson jumps to the outside of Eaton there, looking for a way around. Doesn't quite have the run, but Eaton tucked in behind Alan Vaught. Burke still leads. Robertson was quick last night too, but again, he's up 23 positions into that second spot, so very impressive run. Jeremiah Burke leading this race. He started 21st, so some poor qualifiers, I guess you could say, here near the front of the field late in this race. Vaught jumps to the inside for the second spot. Robertson up the racetrack. We'll see if Allen can get it done on the bottom. Robertson way up the track out of 2. What do you think, Chris? Are they done wrecking?
No.
Yeah,
no, the aggression is definitely peaking here with 20 to go. So I don't think we're done.
I mean, I'm not faulting anybody. It's the time of the race where you got to go 10 tenths here and get after it. But the consequence is likely to be some more bent sheet metal and some yellows.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, you see, this is go time. I mean, there's no holding anything back. You're not saving tires. You're not saving fuel right now or anything. You're just put to the floor for as long as they'll let you go.
There are some drivers that still have some tires left. I know for certain Dustin Eaton, Trevor Robertson still have a set sitting there, if not 2, depending. But they've only made 4 stops, so mathematically they could not have used all their tires to this point. Russ Kilgore's in the same boat. So maybe we get another caution here in the next 5 to 10 laps. Maybe these guys take a chance and come down and pit. Battle for the lead now. Jeremiah Burke with it. Alan Vaught wants to take it away. 18 laps to go. Kyle Vaught up the racetrack out of 2. Stays way topside. Lets everybody get on through. Trying not to be a hindrance here. Burke taking a defensive line here into turn number 3. Vaught continues to trail. Half a truck length off the tailgate of the 53. And Wittenberg, remember, restarted this race from the front row here. Now back to 10th on those older tires. Now Wittenberg's made, Kilgore in the fence. So is Tim Pope. Burke doing an okay job here, holding off Alan Vaught, still running laps just a tick faster, about a half-tenth quicker than the 33 the last 2 laps around. Both drivers making their last pit stop at lap 101. There are some drivers that opted to pit about 6 laps later in that quick caution after, and that was Russ Kilgore, Tim Pope, and some others. Dustin Wade, Dylan Bryant included in that mix. If we go green to the end, that 6-lap tire differential likely to show its face. It's not going to be long enough of a run to the end where they equalize, but it will be long enough where there'll be a slight advantage for those drivers that pit just a little bit later than our current top 5. Dylan Bryant trying to pick up another spot here. Dustin Wade running in the 9th spot, 68 machine topside. Russ Kilgore steps out, now looks to the inside of Robertson. And you know what, Chris? I think we're already starting to see the tire differential between these guys as Kilgore has taken that spot from the 6th. And again, Robertson has shown a lot of pace tonight, certainly in recent races, but the 2 of Kilgore able to drive through. Not by a large margin, but was able to take the spot. And he's one of those drivers with a little bit fresher tires as Kilgore now into the top 5, 12 to go.
When you hit that 10 to 15 lap mark on a set of tires, that's where you see the fall off. So the fact that he does have a few less, he's looking a little bit later drop off there. So he take advantage of it and puts him right there basically at the end of the race.
Still watch it. Jeremiah Burke stretching out his lead over Alan Vaught, and now Alan's got to worry about Dickerson, but Dickerson's in the fence. Slows him considerably. A little bit of contact with Justin Eaton. Gets into Robertson, too. Now they're all trying to scatter. Dickerson loses a ton of track position as now he's back to the 8th position, trying to regroup. So that'll move Kilgore into the 4th spot. Dickerson trying to tuck back in line, but Dylan Bryant there not going to let him pull down. On board with Dustin Eaton, looking back at the 2 of Russ Kilgore. Again, 10 laps to go here from Vegas. Big lift on entry. And there's that lift that we talked about. Trying to set the rear end in yaw. Little tiny lift on entry while you're turning in and then back to the gas. Textbook.
One thing I've been noticing, been kind of impressed with Burke up front too. He's stretching it out, but he's also kind of still searching around for where to run with these tires. You know, what's going to cool him off for him. You know, what he can do. So seeing him be able to manage those tires while moving around all over the track has been kind of impressive to watch.
Still working out for him too. He's about a 1/10.5 quicker the last lap than second place Alan Vaught. So still trying to build that lead. It's just under a second here with 8 laps to go. Kilgore still trying to hold off Robertson. Robertson giving chase, trying to apply as much pressure as he can, but albeit on 6-lap older tires. I'd be curious if they're starting to equalize a little bit sooner than we anticipated. Robertson now going back on the attack here, looks to the inside, pokes his nose to the inside just a touch, but has to tuck back in behind. Six to go. Burke still out in front, 9/10 plus the advantage. Allen was about a 0.5 faster the previous lap, but that's not going to be enough to get caught up. He's got to find some more speed somewhere else. On board with Trevor Robertson, running in the 5th spot behind Russ Kilgore. Good run for the 6 out of 2. Enough to get to the inside in 3. We'll see what he can do anything with it. Has to lift a bit to stay off the door of the 2. Coming to 4 to go.
Hard pass to make on old tires too. Is getting it to stick there at the bottom, especially out of 4.
The low side is not where you want to be here tonight. Three laps to go. Alan Vaught slowly but surely chipping into that deficit. It's one thing to catch him, you got to pass him too, but so far Alan Vaught doing what he has to try and reel in the 53 of Jeremiah Burke. Burke trying to play the upset here tonight. Again, a poor qualifying effort for the 53, 21st on the grid as we took the green flag here tonight, but currently leads, looking at two laps to go as they cross start finish for the 53, and he can take this win. Burke just crossing his fingers that we don't have a caution before he hits back to start finish to get the white flag. Burke out of turn number 4, looking for the white flag. There it is. Barney's waving it. Final lap from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Burke into 1 with a healthy margin, 0.8 of a second back to Alan Vaught. Just needs to be clean to the finish. Out of turn number 2. Burke into 3 and 4 for the final time today. From the 21st starting position, he'll hold off Alan Vaught. Nothing he can do but cross start finish, take the checkered flag and the win here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Burke wins. Alan Vaught second. Dustin Eaton will come home third. Jeremiah Burke out of Phoenix, Arizona, taking the win. Burke picking up the checkered flag here tonight. First win on the season. Alan Vaught finishing second, Dustin Eaton finishing third. When we come back here, we're going to go with Alan Vaught first because he's got some admin duties to attend to here tonight. So we'll get him, then Jeremiah, then Dustin Eaton. But stay with us. We will be back with those top three drivers in the broadcast booth after this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, race 5 in the books. Jeremiah Burke, first win on the season. But we're going to go to Alan Vaught first. He's got things to do. We'll pull the driver, the 33, up in the broadcast booth and get a word with our runner-up here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Alan, it's Steve and Chris in the broadcast booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, Steve. How you doing?
Doing good, Alan. Congratulations, man. We'll get you out of the way so you can go do what you got to do. But a second place finish here tonight. Third place starting position. You had the pace this evening. It seemed like you were just a tick off the pace of Craig Goodenough. Craig ended up having his issues there late. But what was the key to catching Jeremiah Burke if there was more time? Was it the tire? I mean, what was the circumstance there? Was there anything you could have done to reel him in?
I don't think so. I mean, the thing about this place, at least my experience has been, clean air is king. And sitting behind Craig, I was all over him. But then if you sit there for a few laps, it starts to cook your front tires with that aero push. It's just so pronounced. And so it's so tough to pass once you're on equal footing with somebody. As long as they don't miss their mark or have some kind of mistake, it's very difficult. And you can see the same thing kind of fruition behind Burke there. Same thing.
Well, either way, it was a strong run here. Of course, a second place finish. I know nobody likes to say, oh, we had a good points day, but it still is a good points day. And at the end of the season, those things do make a difference, and they matter. We look forward, though, to Homestead Miami Speedway. We watched you run the ultra-high line here tonight a few times. Seems like Homestead's kind of right in your wheelhouse. I know some guys think the top side's bad for the tires, but it is a fast place to run. What's your mindset rolling into South Beach next week?
I like to make sure that I can run both the bottom and the top. There's a lot of grooves there. I like to make sure I can run them all so I have options. I would prefer to run the bottom because it's just so sketch up there on the top. If you make one little miscalculation or you get a little bit of aero push you weren't expecting, then you've kind of ruined your day. Yeah, I just want to be ready for that. I'm fast there. I enjoy it. Burke is fast there, so he could repeat actually. He repeated a couple of seasons ago when we had a back-to-back there at down there in Miami. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's going to be a good week and maybe another opportunity for a win.
Well, Alan, congratulations nonetheless. A strong run here tonight. Who do you want to thank before I let you go?
Hey man, always my wife Lori. You guys up in the booth for killing it, making it look so good. The teammates Kelly Kill, Dave Mayberry, and Greg Klein. And shout out to Fred and Sarah Maston if they're watching. My son Kyle, obviously, I don't know where he finished. Hope he had a good day.
23rd.
Taylor up there watching in Chicago. Where'd he come in at?
23rd.
That was a rough day. Okay.
Hey, he started 26. Nice to have him in here. He moved forward, so it's a plus.
Yeah. Forward progress, man. But yeah, and then just the drivers of this league. I think there were some instances there. I know we had a couple of accidents, but there were some instances of some very, I think, talented driving in close quarters that we had going on there that we didn't wad it up a few different times. So. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those guys.
We definitely saw a lot of drivers grabbing a handful of wheel to stay out of a big mess, and they did a good job at that. I know we had some incidents, but really not a bad race by any means. Cautions are going to happen when you're running faster on these places, so good race as far as I'm concerned. But Alan, congrats again, man. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck next week at Homestead.
Thanks. Appreciate you, man.
Alan Vaught, your runner-up here tonight. Now we'll jump over to Jeremiah Burke, who is certainly likely to be very excited, picking up his first win on the season. Jeremiah, it's Steve and Chris in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy, Steve.
Jeremiah, congratulations, man. 21st to the win. Walk us through your night, man. I know this place is not the easiest to get around. It's wide-ass open for the first handful of laps, but then you got to manage tires, you got to manage the dirty air and everything else. What was the mindset coming into tonight? How did you plan this one out?
Man, I don't know. I always run well here, but I didn't qualify good today, and I just started methodically working my way forward. I took gas there on the first caution, which really opened up my strategy to do a few different things, and I was able to get some track position that way, and then it was just hard racing there. Once I had the track position, going 3 wide for the lead and all that, I got lucky on pit road. Looks like Tim sped on pit road there on that last stop, and I managed to beat the 33 out, and then I just had to get to the lead past the old tires and then aero block like my life depended on it. And it worked out. Got their tires hot and drove away.
You talk about beating the 33 off a pit lane here tonight. Is it safe to say that this race was effectively won in the pits here tonight on that final stop?
I believe it was. It was whoever was going to get to that clean air first was going to win the race. It's you can get to second pretty easy, but to clear the leader, it's so hard, especially when you're just racing one-on-one. It's tough. You're wide open. It's tough to beat the bottom right here, and it's just you got to play chess and save your tires at the same time.
Well, with that said, you did have a much faster pit stop than Alan on that final stop, by about 3.5 tenths quicker than Alan Vaught, so that's what got you the lead there on that final restart. And then you started to drive away, and of course, as you said, aero blocking to the very end. You win this thing by about 8.5 tenths of a second. So strong run here tonight. Congratulations on the win. Looking forward to Homestead Miami Speedway next week. Alan Vaught said it just a moment ago. He's looking at you to go 2 in a row at that place because that seems to be a track that you run quite well at.
I don't think I've been beat there in quite a while. It's a good race. It's a good track for me. The Homestead, Phoenix, and Vegas really line up well for me. They're some of my best tracks. I know I got into some tussles on the track last week and didn't get to show my speed at Phoenix. Got a decent finish out of the deal, but I was glad I'm able to pull it off here. Gives me some momentum going into next week, which is my favorite track aside from the road courses, and I'll see if I can do it again. I think it's pretty much the same thing there. Whoever's going to get the lead is going to win the race, so it's going to be more of the same, more saving tire, more aero blocking, more pit strategy, and it's just going to be this track on steroids as far as the tire saving goes.
Certainly looking forward to it, Jeremiah. Congratulations again on the race win here tonight. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
Thank you. First of all, Lori and Alan, this is going on 4 years with them racing in this league. 5 years racing with them, period, but this has just been the greatest time of my life. Able to pull off as many wins as I have here. I know I've actually struggled mightily since you guys started broadcasting. I think this is only the second time I've talked to you guys, but hope to right my ship. This has been the greatest fun racing. Of course, my teammates Joe, Albert, Larry, or Jack, and Jason. Gosh dang, that's the second time I messed his name up today. They're the greatest.
Nobody's listening. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. It's the greatest group of guys to race with. Of course, my daughters, Samara and Elena. They like watching. They like hearing the shout outs. They get mad at me for not winning lately. And then everybody else watching the broadcast on YouTube. This group of racers we race with. Ricky for these paint schemes. He is an absolute artist, and I'm really, really fond of this Rotor paint scheme. So I'm really glad I got to get it on pit road or get it on victory lane. And then I wanted to make out 1 point here for David Mayberry. Eaton did beat you.
All right, Jeremiah, thanks for talking to us, man. Congratulations again. Certainly good luck next week at Homestead, maybe to go 2 in a row.
Thank you. I hope so. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, man. Jeremiah Burke, your race winner here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Next, we're going to talk to third place finisher, the 14 of Dustin Eaton. We'll pull him up into the broadcast booth and get a word with third place. Dustin, it's Steve and Chris with Track Limits in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh, I got you, fellas. How you doing?
Dustin, congrats, man. A third place finish after a 10th place starting position. Always good when we're moving forward. Walk us through your race, man. Was there a specific strategy that you had coming into tonight?
Man, patience. I saw a lot of guys go sending it through there, burning up their stuff, and unfortunately, not finishing where they thought they would, and just kind of taking it easy, man. And I was there at the end, stayed out of a lot of the bull crap, but got caught up in a little bit. I thought I was done when I smacked the dude, kind of avoiding the pit car, but no, raced back and got there, man. Patience is key.
They say it quite a bit. Just because you can run wide open around a racetrack doesn't mean that you should. There's reasons against it. But either way, a job well done for you here tonight. Third place finish. Homestead Miami Speedway coming up next week. I know it's another track that's not really the most similar. It's pretty unique by comparison to all the other tracks on the schedule. How do you approach a track like Homestead? Are you going to be a bottom feeder, or are you going to be running that Larson line?
Well, buddy, I'm going to tell you this. Out of every track that's ever been created, I hate Homestead the most. I will most likely be a middle back runner in that one. I just, for some reason, for the life of me, I can't figure it out. It's not the tires, it's not the speed, but I don't know. So I hope to survive and not cry myself to sleep next Wednesday, and kind of putting that one out of mind, moving on to next week, the week after, rather.
Yeah, Dustin, I'm with you as far as that's concerned. I'm not a huge fan of Homestead unless I'm calling a race or we're running the road course. But either way, you got a third place finish here tonight, so at least some points to go into Homestead next week, man. So congratulations at that. Who do you want to shout out to before I let you go?
Well, normally I'm shouting out my wife first and foremost, but this week's a little different, boys. Mayberry has talked crap for about 2-3 weeks ever since an open Las Vegas race, and I just hope he knows that I beat him. I've been sending him messages ever since we quit or got out of the race, and it's just, that's the sweetest victory tonight. It's a win in my book. Team Tang, we had a lot of guys. I think we had 3 or 4 of us in the top 15, and then poor player got taken out early. And definitely appreciate you guys, putting us on and checking us out, and then Justin Lord for putting it on.
Just to be, specific here, I think player, even though he had a problem, I think he still beat Mayberry too.
Well, man, I'm so glad you point that out. That's just another thing on my list. I'm going to be speaking with him here real soon, and I can't wait to fill him in on that little detail.
Like I said earlier in the broadcast, we kid because we care. Either way,
Dustin,
absolutely. Congratulations, man. It was a fun one to watch. Wish you the best of luck next week at Homestead.
I appreciate you guys. See you next week.
Take care. Dustin Eaton, your third place finisher here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That's going to wrap it up for the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. So let's take a look at our race results. Of course, we talked to our top 3 already. Jeremiah Burke, Alan Vaught, Dustin Eaton. Fourth place was Russ Kilgore. Trevor Robertson was 5th. Tim Pope came home in the 6th spot, right where he started. 7th was Dustin Wade. 8th, Dylan Bryant. 9th went to Kelly Cool. Kelly had a struggle here tonight, managed to work his way back through, still a solid top 10 finish, so good job sticking with it for the 0-1. 10th was Jason Gaines. George Rincon was 11th. Austin Paul was 12th. Greg Dobson, 13th. Kevin Hunt finished in the 14th spot. Craig Goodenough, strong run here tonight, led some laps. Was a contender for sure, but just didn't come out the way he anticipated. 15th place for the number 89. Chandler Paul was 16th. Mike Everidge was 17th. Albert Anderson was 18th. Scott Roney, first truck, 1 lap down, finished in the 19th spot. Stoney Benfield finished in the 20th position. 21st finisher was Larry Dickerson. Ricky Wittenberg was 22nd. 23rd, John McAdam. 24th was Kyle Vaught. 25th was Andrew Player. Dave Fight was 26th. Greg Klein, 27th. Mike Adamson, 28th. Dave Mayberry finished in the 29th spot. Andrew Coffin was 30th. 31st, John McDonald. Dion Jones, 32nd. 33rd, Anthony Williams. 34th, Jack Dixon. Joe Canellis finished in the 35th spot. John Gallagher, 36th. Last but not least, 100 laps down, the 84 of Josh Bittner. That'll wrap it up for us here tonight. Again, got to give a big time thank you to Chris Goins for jumping up in the broadcast booth with me here tonight, as he's been doing so often. He is donating his time to do that. I certainly appreciate him being here doing that. Chris, I mean it, man. You make my life easier. I appreciate you being out here. Hopefully, I'd like to see you out on track with these guys here in the very near future. But in the meantime, you're welcome up here anytime.
Well, I appreciate it, Steve. It's definitely enjoyable.
Oh, we lost him. We lose the push to talk button.
No, yeah, got me.
Hey, there we go.
Hey,
welcome back.
No, it's thanks. No, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come up here and call these things. I love watching these guys go around the track. So, like you said, hopefully one season, soon we'll be able to jump out there on track with them. But until then, we're gonna appreciate doing this with you. So.
Certainly looking forward to it. Again, congratulations, Jeremiah Burke, picking up the win here tonight. We'll see you guys at the next one here. Homestead Miami Speedway a week from today. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.